Hey everyone, Michael O'Brien here, and in today's video we're going to be discussing 5 plots of card magic. Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Advice for Magicians video where my job is to make you the best possible entertainers that you can be. Now it has been a little while since I've uploaded an Advice for Beginners video, but I wanted to start putting more of these up because recently I've noticed a lot of my subscribers are newer magicians that may not really care too much about the intricacies of what it means to be a professional working magician, how to book gigs, how to make more money, or any of that stuff. Maybe you're here because you just want to learn more about magic. Maybe you want to learn how to perform better magic effects, or what it means to perform, how to approach people, the different types of magic that there are out there to discover, and all of this. So if you haven't already done so, please subscribe because I am going to be putting more content up that you guys will enjoy. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and binge my Advice for Magicians playlist. So whether it be the Advice for Magicians or the Advice for Beginners playlist, there's going to be a lot for you guys to discover there. And if you happen to be a professional, stick around. I think that you'll enjoy the content of this video anyway. And of course, don't forget to binge the Advice for Professionals videos. We have reviews, we have tutorials, we have all kinds of fun stuff here on the channel. So I hope you guys stick around. And if you'd like to support me further, you're welcome to click the join button as well. Stick around to the very end of this video because I will tell you guys more about the join button and the different perks associated with it. So without further ado, let's dive into the contents of this video now. Before we can discuss the 5 plots of card magic that I want to talk about in this video, first let's talk about what's a plot. Have you ever been watching a movie or reading a book and someone asks you, that looks like a cool, interesting story. What's the plot, right? Basically what they're asking you is like, what is the premise? What is it about, right? Is it a horror film about a serial killer? Is it a romantic comedy about a down on her luck girl that finds herself in this unique situation? Maybe she's like a fish out of water character and she meets this guy and they fall in love or whatever, right? That is the plot of the film. What is it about? What type of film is it? How does it feel? All of these things, right? So when we're talking about the plots in magic, there are different types of plots, right? There's actually thousands of different plots in magic. It just depends exactly on what it is that you're trying to convey to the audience, right? Is it a mind reading effect? Is it a feat of sleight of hand? Is something impossible happening? Right? And we can get even more specific. In fact, we've gotten so specific with some of these things that they have names. Just speaking in this video, right? We have like maybe an ambitious card routine, or maybe a triumph, or an oil and water effect, right? Different types of card plots have different names. And in this video, I'm going to discuss 5 different card plots that you guys should know about if you haven't heard of these, what they are, and all of that good stuff. The first card plot is probably one of the first effects that you will learn with a deck of cards, and this is the ambitious card routine, also known as an ACR. So what is an ambitious card routine? In its simplest form, basically you put a card in the middle of the deck, and without seemingly doing anything, the card arrives to the top of the deck. In its most simplest form, that's what an ambitious card routine is. There are millions of different ambitious card routines out there. It can be done with a regular deck. It can be done using a gimmick. It can be done with a special deck of cards. There's tons of different ways to achieve the effect. There's also different variations on the effect as well. It could be as simple as a one-phase thing where you stick the card in the middle, you click your fingers, and now it's on the top, and that's the end of the effect. Or the running gag in the magic community is some magicians just don't know when to stop, and they'll be performing 125 phase ambitious card routine where the card comes up to the top over and over and over and over again. If you've been in the magic community for even just a little while, you've probably heard someone jokingly say, oh yeah, well, how do you like my, 2000 phase ACR routine, right? This is what they're talking about. So a typical ambitious card routine might look something like this. You take a card from the spectator, it gets lost into the deck. You do a bunch of fancy shuffles and cuts, and then you turn the top card over only to reveal that it is their chosen card. And then you say, well, maybe I'm just using some sleight of hand. Not really magic, maybe I'm just good with my hands. So let's try that again. You put the card back in the deck, only this time without doing anything. Maybe you're Michael Lamar and you cast a shadow over the cards. Or you click your fingers just like this and you turn the top card over to reveal that their chosen card is back on top again. But the cards are still in your hands, so maybe you're doing something sneaky even though they can't see it. So how cool would it be to hand them the deck, hand them the card, let them put it in the middle, let them do the magic move, and then turn the top card over only to reveal that it is their chosen card, right? And again, this can be achieved in multiple different ways. You can use a single gimmick that allows you to do this. You can use a completely ordinary deck of cards with no gimmick and it just uses sleight of hand. Or you can use a completely gimmicked deck of cards, like a Svengali deck, for example, where the entire deck is gimmicked and it allows you to do this without having to do any sleight of hand. So there's different ways to achieve this effect, and different magicians will do it in different ways. The really cool thing about this ambitious card plot is that no two ambitious card routines are the same. Everyone does it in a different way. Everyone adds their own little flavor to it. And I encourage you to go out and learn an ambitious card routine, because they're one of the most fun to perform, and you're gonna very quickly find out they get some of the best reactions. All right, up next we have the Triumph. Now the Triumph is another very popular effect, and the idea is very simple. You have a spectator choose a card, the card gets lost into the deck is shuffled, and then you do something that the audience didn't expect you to do. You take half of the cards, turn them face up, and shuffle them into the other half of the deck that is still face down. So now when you show the cards, they're all mixed up, not just shuffled, but some cards are face up, some cards are face down, some cards are back to back, some cards are face to face. The whole deck is a mess. You ask them to name their card, and without seemingly doing anything, just a click of the fingers, you spread all of the cards out, and now they're all facing the same direction except one card. There's one face down card amongst all of the face up cards, and that card is revealed to be the spectator's chosen card. And again, just like an ambitious card routine, there's tons of different ways to perform this effect. There's completely gimmicked decks, there's no gimmick, and again, just use a sleight of hand. It could be done on a table, it could be done just in the hands. One of the first effects that I learned was a version of a Triumph effect using something called the sloppy shuffle, where you show face up cards and face down cards as you're mixing them through. You might even know a type of effect like this already. The Triumph really is a really powerful card effect. Again, I highly recommend that you consider adding one into your set. All right, next up we have the oil and water plot. Now, have you ever tried that science experiment where you take oil and water and you mix them together? Do you remember what happens? It's really simple. All of the bubbles, all of the oil actually floats to the top because oil is lighter and thinner than water. So all of the oil will separate from the water, leaving a very distinct line right down the middle, where you have the water all at the bottom and the oil all at the top. Now, an oil and water presentation when it comes to card magic is exactly the same thing. Usually it can be done with a few cards, like 6 or 8 cards, or it could even be done with an entire deck of cards. And usually it's done between the red cards and the black cards. So for example, what you might do is you might shuffle the deck of cards, show all of the cards are shuffled, snap your fingers or let the cards settle for a moment, and then when you spread all of the cards out again, now all of the red cards are all separated from all of the black cards. And again, this can be done with a gimmick. This could be done using just pure sleight of hand. In some cases, there are even self-working versions of the oil and water routine. Now, the way that I typically do this is I use a few cards and I add some more and I add some more. So it's a 4-card effect and then a 6-card effect and then an 8-card effect again. So it's ramping up that impossibility. And then I say, remember the deck of cards, how I shuffled those at the start? Well, they've been sitting there for an awful long time. They've definitely had enough time to settle down now, and I spread the rest of the deck to show that they have all separated out. So the oil and water is definitely one of my favorite plots of magic, and another one worth checking out. The wild card. Now this one is a really interesting effect because it involves something called a color change. Now when we talk about color changes in Magic, typically we're talking about the faces or the backs of one card changing into a completely different card. So maybe for example, I'm holding the Ace of Spades, I wave my hand over it and it changes into the Queen of Hearts. That's a color change. Now what a wild card does is it actually takes a single card and you perform that same sort of color change effects with a group of other cards, and now they've all become that original card. So for example, let's just say you have 6 Queen of Hearts and 1 Ace of Spades. One at a time, you wave the Ace of Spades over each of those Queen of Hearts and they all change into the Ace of Spades. So now at the very end, remember you had 6 Queen of Hearts and 1 Ace of Spades. Now you have 7 Aces of Spades. And there's different ways to achieve this as well. Again, there's ungimmicked versions of this, but most wildcard routines do usually involve a gimmick. And it doesn't usually involve an entire deck of cards. Again, this is something that we call a packet trick, where you're using just a small amount of cards, like usually 6 or 8 or even 10 cards, as opposed to using an entire deck. Now, the version of wildcard that I really enjoy performing the most is Michael Blomicki's Pokemon wildcard, where he changes all of the very common and inexpensive Pokemon cards into the rare and very valuable holographic Charizard. Last but not least, this effect is a magic effect, but it is also a very popular street hustle that you may or may not have seen, especially in a large touristy area like Los Angeles or Las Vegas or New York. Some large city usually has some version of this scam running, and that is called the Monty. And it takes multiple different forms. It could be done with 2 cards, it could be done with 3 cards, it could be done with 5 cards, or in some cases it doesn't even use cards. Maybe it uses discs with a little dot on the bottom, or maybe it uses cups with a ball inside, you know, like the 3 shell game, where you have to figure out which one has the P or which one has the ball underneath it. Well, the way that the Monty works is essentially you show 2 red cards and a black card, and you shuffle them all up, and you ask the spectator to point to the one that they think is the black card. If they get it right, they win. If they get it wrong, you win. It's pretty simple, right? So if you were to take 3 cards, let's just say the Queen of Hearts, the Queen of Diamonds, and the Ace of Spades. Keep your eye on the ace, right? And you're shuffling up the cards, and of course you're doing this face down. With their eyes, they have to track where the cards are being shuffled to. And you say, point to any one of these cards. And if you point to the winning card, you win. Now, you might be asking yourself, how is this a magic effect though, if it's just a game of chance? And that's the interesting thing about the Monty, is it is not a game of chance. There is a little bit of sleight of hand and a little bit of misdirection going on behind the scenes to not only have the spectator tracking the wrong card, but in some cases, let's just say the spectator loses track of the card and they just guess, well, if there's only 3 cards to follow, right? And they only have a 33.33333% chance of getting it right, the odds are that they might end up even guessing the correct card. So there's ways to even, if they point to the correct card, there's even ways to get out of it so you can make it look like they chose the wrong card, right? Using different types of sleights, card switches, things like this. There's even variations of the Monty where a spectator is given a sticker and they can stick the sticker on the back of the money card. You shuffle the cards up, they're just tracking the sticker, right? And then they point to the one with the sticker on it, but then when the card is turned over, the sticker is actually now on the wrong card, and they lost the bet, right? And typically, as a magician, you're performing this for fun, and you're telling the spectator straight up at the start that this is a scam. If you ever see someone playing this game on the street, however, just understand that this is a scam, this is a hustle, there is no way to win. Even if you see people winning the game, making a lot of money, and you think, oh man, like maybe I have a chance, it is a complete hustle, because the people that are winning are not actually winning, they're actually in on it, and they are working with the person that is performing the 3-card Monty. So just keep that in the back of your mind. If you ever see this on the street, don't play, don't participate. I wouldn't even recommend getting close, because the chances are, while everyone is distracted by what's going on at the Monty table, you have accomplices walking through the audience, picking your pockets, stealing your watches, or keeping an eye on who the next mark is going to be. All right, my friends, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. If you look in the description of this video, I've gone ahead and listed out some of my favorite versions of the different effects that I've discussed in this video, and those are going to be tutorials as well, so you guys can go in, you can check those out, you can learn how to perform these effects and all of that stuff. That way you guys can go out and show your friends. Now, like I said, my tutorial videos are part of my membership program, so if you haven't already done so, go ahead and click the join button and become a member. Members get access to a bunch of really cool perks, whether it be early access to videos, tutorials. If you're an inner circle member, a member of the mob lieutenant or higher, you even get special access to lectures and live events. And if you become a mob boss or a mob underboss, those are the 2 highest tiers of my membership, you even get direct one-on-one access with me, where you can pick my brain about anything. We can hop on a call or on a video session, and we can learn some really cool magic. I can help you work on tricks that you already know. I could teach you new magic, or if you are ready to take that next step and start doing magic professionally, or going out and performing for people that you don't know, not just your family and friends, I can set you up with a session where we can practice and learn together on how to do that stuff. Now at this time, I just wanted to thank all of my members who have already joined. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Andreas Block, Noah Puritan, Stephen H., Thomas Maloney, Andrew C., and Frank Koina. Thank you guys so much for becoming members. It is because of you that I'm able to keep this channel going. And if you guys want to join them among the ranks of the mob, all you got to do is just click the join button, check the membership tab for more information on the different levels associated with each perk, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.